Hi, and welcome to the Flatback 4 podcast with me, Andy Maguire, and of course, joining me is the lovely Scott Eaglin.
The lovely.
Well,
That's quite
I
kind of
feel
you,
good
mate.
on the Sun. I know I feel good on a Sunday today.
Yeah,
We're going to be talking about the international roundup this weekend because the Nations League is back. It's slightly strange that it's back before the ball's kicked. It all seems listen, it's 2020. Nothing seems right, so it's probably right that the England games are starting before the Premier League games.
no, mate. If
It's
if
very strange.
if I put a gun to your head, could you tell me how the Nations League works?
No, not a clue. I don't even know why we're playing it now
No,
because the tournament's set for next year. But I don't. Is there some sort of? It can help because of the playoffs, and I don't think anyone really knows.
mate,
But what I do know is I quite enjoy it.
I do. I quite enjoy it. I quite like the fact that like now we'd be playing friendlies, wouldn't we? It wouldn't be it
Yeah,
wouldn't be like a competitive sort of whatever it is, Nation League. I was listening to Talksport this morning and last night, and they were talking about the games that have been going on in the Nations League in general. And I'd say 95% of fans don't really know what's going on, don't really
no.
understand how it works. They just think, oh, it's another tournament. Let's do as well as we can. And we did well in it last time, didn't we? Last year.
Yeah, and it also
Finished third.
it does for rankings. It's a little bit of a
Yeah,
better format because you're playing better opposition, the points, the table. It is better. I
yeah.
do like it.
And it's more competitive for like smaller nations as well, because that means that I saw yesterday that Gibraltar were playing San Marino. I mean, Gibraltar won, and that's probably one of their first, second, or third wins that they've ever had. So it gives
Yeah,
smaller nations a much better opportunity, and it means England can play against bigger nations like a Denmark that are playing this week and a
yeah.
Belgium.
Well, England obviously did play. It wasn't a classic. We both watched it. We were texting each other while it was on. And firstly, overview of the game. England looked okay. Iceland were solid. To be
Yeah, yeah,
fair to them, I think you kind of know what you're going to get with them. They're kind of in their golden generation of the talent that they're bringing through
yeah,
and
yeah.
how they play and whatnot. Couple of For us, we had Foden, who were making his senior debut. How did you evaluate his performance? I thought he was okay in stages, but didn't really light up the world. But he was okay.
It probably wasn't a game that was fit for him. It was difficult to
Mm.
break down. Iceland were always going to be difficult. They just set up the stall, didn't they? They parked the bus, didn't they, as Jose used to say. I think they had 5 players out as well, didn't they? 5 of their biggest
Yeah,
players. I know Sigurdsson weren't playing. There were a couple of others that
and
weren't
that's what I
there
mean.
either.
Though they see how them players out, and they still look quite solid. They're,
Yeah,
they're
didn't
all
they?
right. They're not.
Yeah,
They're not a nation now which you can kind of just walk on. However, I do have a problem with that because I think if England are going to be considered for winning Euros and winning World Cups, you still have to be beating them teams, even if it's a comfy 2-0.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
it I just get that they're a better team now than they were, but England have the players and should be breaking them down for me.
Yeah, I think it would have been a completely different game, wouldn't it, if Kane's goal would have stood and should have stood. It was a poor decision, that one. It was just a poor
Really
decision.
poor decision, and I actually wonder whether the son got in the way because he was squinting the whole game. The
Yeah, because it
linesman.
was facing that
You
way,
saw
wasn't it?
how you obviously it was shadowed at this side of the pitch and over at that side where it was. And I don't know why wasn't VAR. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like we've brought it in to try and eradicate these kind of stuff. We all needed one look at that. We all saw it straight away, and Kane, got denied his goal. So
Yeah, that's one of the things that I don't like. Well, how many more things don't I like about VAR? I mean, the fact that you either put it in every single game everywhere, or you don't do it at all. You can't have one rule for the Premier League, one rule for international football, one rule
I
for the
agree.
Championship. Do you know what I mean? It's just not
I
right
agree.
because it becomes a different game, doesn't it? It just becomes a
I
completely
agree.
different game. We're playing these games now, like yesterday, and we're saying, oh well, if that had been in the Premier League, or if that had been in, Euros or the World Cup, then it'd have been different. It would have been a goal. So
You
go on.
said as well, didn't you? Wasn't it weird the atmosphere when he scored that goal?
Yeah, because like even the commentator Martin Tyler, he didn't think it had gone in, or because
I
everybody
thought
just
it hit the
stopped.
side netting. I thought it hit the
Yeah,
side netting at
and
first.
Kane didn't even really celebrate, did he? So it was just listen. It'd have been a completely different game, wouldn't it, if that goal had gone in and it should have counted. I think if that goal had gone in, then Iceland would have had to come out, wouldn't they? And that'd have probably made us.
Yeah, yeah.
It made us play better, wouldn't it? It had given Foden that freedom because he didn't have any freedom all game. and it'd have opened up for the likes of Sterling and Sancho, who I think we'll touch on in a second, mate. Sancho, I know you're a huge fan of Sancho, mate.
Yeah, big fan. Yeah, just so comfy with the ball, isn't he? I just wanted to touch on one more player though before we start getting into the real detail. It was James Ward-Prowse. He looked good.
Yeah.
He kept things moving. He always seemed to be involved. I don't know what we didn't really talk about individual performances when we were talking the other night. So, him and Foden, who do you think had the better game? I actually think Ward-Prowse had the better game.
I do actually. I think he just managed the game really well, didn't he? And did you see that little thing that he did with the penalty spot just before their penalty as well? I think we've lost you, mate. Are we still there? Are we still there? You still there, mate?
I apologise for that. I had somebody trying to call me. There you go. We're still on Zoom calls, aren't we? So,
yeah, Ward-Prowse,
mate.
mate.
We're going to talk about Ward-Prowse, yeah.
Yeah, he did okay. I mean, he was probably the one player who came out of the game last night with some sort of credit. I think if we're going to go into individual performances, you can't really read too much into it because it was so difficult to break down, which is weird because a lot of the players that are playing for England at the minute play for the bigger teams, and actually the player that doesn't play against teams who set up the stall to park the bus, Ward-Prowse, plays for Southampton, actually came out of it probably looking the best. But yeah, like we were saying on Foden, I don't think it was a game for him, were it? Although saying that, the teams that Man City play against pretty much play the same, don't
Tend
they?
to sit back, yeah.
They park the bus, don't they?
I think you've got to as well rely on the fact that it was first game, probably a little bit of nerves. I know there was no fans in, and he doesn't seem to ride with the nerves. He seems to overcome any situation he's in. However, new players around him, it's all new to him, and he is only 20 years old. Let's not forget that. Where Ward-Prowse, I suppose, is older, captain of his team, played in Premier League for a while, maybe just handle the pressure a little bit better. But I have nothing even falters me that Foden is going to be world class. Absolutely brilliant player, and I'm really excited to see now that David Silva's left the club, what Foden does and how Guardiola actually plays with Foden, and how Foden then has that connection with Kevin De Bruyne, Nathan Ake, and but I am really excited to see that because I think he's going to get a full run of games now, and this season we're going to see what Foden's potential is going to be, and I think it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I don't think Harry Kane looked 100% yesterday, did you?
No, he looked very tired. Very tired.
He looked well off the pace, didn't he? He just He just looked tired.
Still scored though, and technically he did still score.
Technically, he did still score, and again, it would have been a completely different game if that goal went in. But he just looked a bit lacklustre. Probably again, he probably didn't benefit from the not lack of service, but them setting up their stall to sort of park the bus. It wasn't a Harry Kane type of game. Danny Ings didn't really do too much when he came on, although
and I was excited to see Ings as well. But again, it was just a bit of a funny game as well, wasn't it? I don't know how much the England players with their fitness, and listen, these are the fittest they'll ever probably be ever in pre-season ever again. Because let's be honest, we are still in pre-season. Whether you've only had 3 weeks off, it takes a little bit of strain on the body, but 9 times out of 10 they're going to be fit because of the shorter break that they've had off. But Jadon Sancho, he always looks lively. His feet, and I think his awareness. But again, for someone so young, you can tell that he has played, 30 odd games a season for the last 3 years consecutively now, maybe
2 or 3 years.
You can see that he's, having them 150 games, 200 games, whatever it is behind him now. He is looking a real. Just linking up the play, he drops wide, he can drop in. If he drops into that number 10 role, then you'll find him out on the wing. Doesn't surprise you if he pops up in the middle. He is just such an intelligent footballer. And I think he's that one person in that team, maybe along with Foden, that you go, match winner. He is a match winner, that guy. And I think that Iceland, when they were playing against him, he was the one that I thought, they're frightened of him.
Yeah.
They're frightened. You can see, they're wary. I can't speak. I'd love to see him in the Premier League. whether it's with Man United,
I'm going to ask.
that'd be hard to see.
I'm going to ask this every single time that we go on about Foden. What did Man City not see not Foden, sorry, about Sancho? What did Man City not see in Sancho?
The only thing I can say, look, all good clubs have let some players slip, right? Okay, and then maybe at the time, maybe it was just might have been a physical thing. It might have been. I mean, I think his footballing ability. They're saying that he was a good footballer, but I think with him, I don't think it was more that Man City didn't know he was good. He wanted to play games.
Yeah.
And Man City weren't willing to, where Foden's been willing to sit back and train with him and get on games. Sancho went, no, I want to play.
But why did Man City not do what most teams do abroad, which is loan him out for one, or put a buyback clause in his contract to say...
Well, the buyback clause is the one that everyone kind of goes, why, why didn't they just whack a 25 million clause back in and get him back?
You see that a lot with like Barcelona, they'll do a buyback clause in years 1, 2 and 3 and that price tag will increase. So you'll do like a buyback after year 1 of 15 million, year 2, 25, year 3, 40, something like that.
Like buyback ability.
Buyback ability, yeah. I just think English clubs, really, they're really silly.
It is a funny one. It's a funny one, but I suppose Man City's lost Borussia's game because I think they'll probably
England's game
get the big money.
Probably,
yeah.
By him moving over there.
There was, I think Sancho deserves a lot of credit because he didn't just go on a loan team to England. He took that step and went abroad.
Yeah.
And he's learning the language. He's playing in a new team. It's a different culture, and he has just thrived. Jude Bellingham's gone there now. Is he going to do the same? Borussia seem to look after. Yeah. They'll look after the youngsters as well. I must point out to everyone because you look like you're looking over. You are watching the Wales game, aren't you? You are just keeping your eye on it.
Yeah, just keeping an eye.
Is there anything going on?
Absolutely nothing. Nothing. No.
All right, brilliant. So I think Borussia just have a canny knack of helping youngsters through, whether they be English, German, wherever. So I think it was bold. I think that says a lot about Sancho's personality, and that's the way he plays on the pitch as well. I think he knows that he's good. He knows that he's getting developed. He probably is further down the chain than Foden because he's played more games. However, we always said, Foden not moving and going on loan, he got to play with Kevin De Bruyne, Silva, Company, so on, Mahrez. These are great players. Like, is he really going to go away and do 1-2s with Mark Noble? Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I think Mark Noble's a great. But you know what I mean? The standard of football is a massive, massive difference. So, I just thought Sancho was the shining light. His feet were great, always looked threatening, and I think he's going to go on, and I think he'll score a lot of goals for England.
And I saw a lot of criticism. One man who did get a lot of criticism, well, a couple actually, who came out of the game with quite a lot of criticism. One was Kyle Walker because he got sent off, and we'll touch on Kyle Walker in a second. But the other one was Declan Rice. I saw loads of people criticising, and I listened to one of the phone-ins last night. I can't remember if it was 5 Live or Talks, but they don't feel like Declan Rice really offered that much to the game. I just wondered what your thoughts were.
I thought he broke up play quite well. And listen, I'm not a Declan Rice fan. I'm not. I'm not like I don't see what everyone sees, but actually, I thought credit where it's due. I thought he broke up play, kept things ticking over yesterday. I mean, I know Iceland weren't massively pressing and they weren't amazing, but I thought that he did his job. It's like, well, what can you do? You can only do what's in front of you. What could Declan Rice really have done? He's not going to go get you a 30-yard screamer. Well, he might do. He did one last season, didn't he? But realistically, he is there to break down play, and I actually thought he did quite an okay job of that yesterday. The criticism, I don't know. Listen, it's an England player. They're always going to get criticised. How did you feel?
I thought he did well. I think what more do you expect from a central defensive midfielder in a game where you're not really going to get much, you're going to get a lot of the ball, but you're not going to be able to break teams down. And he's not a playmaker, is he? He's a defensive midfielder. He breaks up the play. And
he missed a chance, didn't he, as well? He missed that when it came to him. But I mean, listen, he's obviously not a gifted striker as well. But
he's not going to get you 10, 15 goals a season, is he? But he's probably going to stop 10 or 15 goals going in the other end. And he's, more on Declan Rice and more on Eric Dyer. I do hope that Rice doesn't become the same, the victim of his own versatility like Eric Dyer has, dropping into centre-back and then dropping into midfield, stay in that defensive midfielder role and work it and become the best player that you can be in that position. But I thought he did all right yesterday.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. And the Eric Dyer thing is quite weird because he obviously is a unit. He's a big lad. He's not got bad feet. but like you said, he's a CDM. Now he's trying to be converted to a centre back.
Yeah.
What is he? If you ask me now, gun to head, what is he? I don't really know. I probably would say CDM.
Yeah,
But he's big enough, and he's got the attributes to be a centre back. But
when
him and Maguire are too similar.
Yeah, when I look at players in Premier League, I think, where would you slot in elsewhere if you were to make a big move? And Eric Dyer, would he slot into somebody's defence or would he slot into somebody's midfield? I'm not too sure. I mean, it'd been ideal for Man United when Mourinho were there, and he's ideal for Tottenham now when Mourinho's there. Just touch on Kyle Walker, mate. 2 silly bookings.
Yeah, was it the first one that I thought was a little bit hit and miss? It could have had a warning.
Yeah.
But for someone of his age and for someone that's had as many games, has won as many titles as he has now, yeah, it was silly, and I think he knew it as well. And actually, he's such an engine and he's such an athlete. He didn't have the greats again, but you still look at him and you go, he's such a unit. But it was silly. Luckily, in the end, it didn't cost us.
He was quite upset after the game, mate. Did you see the interview? He was quite upset.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I think he thought that it was going to be his last game for England.
I don't know. What is he now? 31, isn't he?
He's
30. No, he's 32.
I think he's 30.
Is he 30? All right. So he's 30 now, 31. He's been around a long time. He's still got that pace. He's still got that power.
There's a lot of competition for that right back role. There's a lot of competition.
The thing. You've just taken the words out. Now, there's just, with Trippier, I know Trippier's 30 as well, but obviously with Trent, and how are we going to go forward with that? Because we all see Trent kind of more going forward. So is the right back, is there more up for grabs maybe at that? If you think about the right back, you got Trippier and Kyle Walker that are 30s, or, I think Trippier's 29, 30, whatever. But, if you're thinking a bit, into the future, that maybe that right back is up for grabs. Wan-Bissaka is probably the best defender.
Yeah.
So are we going forward? Are we going to maybe see Trent push further on? But then you've got Sancho, and then you know what I mean? It's going to be a weird. I don't know about that right back position.
I think on his day, actually, Kyle Walker, on his day, and we say this a lot about players, on the day they're the best. But Kyle Walker on his day is England's best right back. He's unbelievable going forward, and he's unbelievable at the back because he could lose a man, and within a split second he's got him back.
He gets back, and that's one thing that he does have.
Because his speed is unreal. Sometimes he's a bit too rapid for me. He can a bit like Walcott in his early days. When he was too fast for his own good, so he sort of
lost the ball over his feet.
Yeah, dragging the ball over his feet. But there is so much competition in that role. You think Walker, Alexander-Arnold, Wan-Bissaka. There's just a lot of competition coming through. There's a lot of Maitland-Niles we touched on as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we said he's on the verge.
Nailed on for Wolves.
Went to put a man of the match performance.
And now he's in England team.
There you go. See, I think that everything that we say on this podcast, you always just reverse the opposite, and that's probably what's going to happen.
I think we need
England definitely won't win the Euros.
Yeah, I think we need to start criticising one player every week, and then suddenly they'll have an unbelievable. I think. Mark Albrighton is just an absolutely awful player, isn't he? And just
Players Player of the Year coming up. I think going forward with England, I'm not really going to judge too much on this performance. Denmark, Tuesday will be a bit of a different task. He's probably going to switch up. Let's maybe talk about who we might bring in. Do you think Danny Ings will start? Do you think Calvin Phillips will start? Do you think he really will switch it up?
No, I don't.
Or do you think
so.
he might keep the basis of it and just maybe?
I think it'll just be one change, mate. I think it'll just be Walker for Alexander-Arnold. I think that'll be it.
I think he'll make a couple of changes. I think he might make 3 or 4.
You think?
I think he might keep a spine, but I think he might. Yeah, I do. I don't know why. Listen, mate. I'm never right. So we're never right, So Gazza will be starting.
Yeah. So MLS up front.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I probably would maybe change it up a little bit, just to see. I mean, Denmark. I think they lost the other night, didn't they? They lose 2-0.
Yeah, they lost 1-0.
Belgium.
I think it was just 1-0. Oh no, it was 2-0. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 2-0.
2-0 because Lukaku. God, he looks good, Lukaku. We'll touch on the other games, but I mean, it'll be a different challenge. I think they've got some decent players. Maybe not unlike Iceland, but you know what you're kind of going to get from Denmark. But I think it'd be nice to get a couple of goals from open play. You know, I mean, we didn't even touch on the penalties in the Iceland game. I mean,
Oh God! I mean, the first penalty, the Sterling goal, which why Sterling's taking a penalty and not Danny Ings, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
I said this yesterday, didn't I, mate? Strikers should be pushing people. You know,
Yeah.
they should be fighting in the changing rooms, mate. You know, move out of the way. I'm taking the penalty. You're a striker. You'd want to take a penalty, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Imagine me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Imagine me coming centre mid, right wing, or whatever. I'll take it, mate. And you'd be saying no.
You usually give me the ball. You give because that's what you do.
You're the finisher.
Yeah.
Put you in front of goal, in front of a goalkeeper. You're nailed on to score.
And if you miss a couple, you change it up.
Yeah,
and that's when you change it up.
Yeah. But anyway, great penalty by Sterling.
Put it away comfortably. Absolutely comfortable.
Perfect penalty.
No problem.
Absolutely no problem.
40 seconds later, or whatever it was.
Silly from Joe Gomez, wasn't it? It's really silly.
He's right. Well, you know I'm not a fan.
No, well, BB want to find money on one of our
No, it wasn't. No,
first shows.
He hasn't developed for me like I thought he would do. It were rash. It was silly. It was very naive from someone who is not a defender that's not had a few games. All right, he's been injury prone and he's missed a lot of games, but he's actually experienced.
Yeah,
and he's playing alongside Van Dijk.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
he's not back there.
It would just, is he behind you? It was just silly, wasn't it? It was just silly from him. Stupid challenge, especially at that time of the game, man. I think he had two players on him though, didn't he? Running past him. I don't know who the midfield runner was. But yeah, it was just a silly challenge. And the penalty was awful, wasn't it? The penalty.
It was pressure,
God,
that wasn't it?
Really poor. I'd have fancied Jordan Pickford, to be fair. He's good at penalties, isn't he? Clearly.
Yeah. Damn, completely the wrong way if he would have.
Yeah.
Even if it
I mean, yeah.
But it's very good. Didn't even pick the right way.
No. But if he did. Ward Prowse were doing that with a penalty spot, wasn't he? You know,
Yeah, he did. He dug it up a little bit.
Dug
it
up a little bit. Yeah. I like that.
Maybe that spares the blushes. I think more for the Icelandic boy because it was still a terrible penalty.
I quite like that though. That bit of cheek from somebody. You know.
Yeah, I thought that Ward Prowse, in my eyes, I thought he could have probably been. Could have been up there for man of the match. I liked. Yeah. I thought it was. I don't even know who got man of the match. Actually, if I'm being completely honest. Do you know?
No.
I've got to be honest, mate. I turned it straight off as soon as I saw Alex Scott come on my screen. So
yes,
I couldn't watch any.
Same with Ashley Cole, mate. They're two of the worst pundits that Sky Sports really could have had.
Yeah,
it's really poor.
But I mean, as a player, we loved Ashley Cole.
Oh,
I mean,
what a player!
What a player!
Yeah,
I mean,
what a player.
Best left back probably in the world for consecutively over years. Even better than Carlos for me for consistency and what he did.
Probably the best left back I've ever seen.
I agree.
Going forward.
You see him in person play? Did you ever see Cole play in person?
Do you know? I think I might have seen him once. Well, I saw him last year, mate, didn't I? For when Derby played against Leeds. Even then, I think he only came on for the last half hour, and we couldn't get past him, even at 38, 39 or whatever he was.
Very clever footballer. But yeah, touch on some of the other nations because obviously we said England are going to play on Tuesday now. Scotland were 1-1 with Israel.
Yeah.
I probably watched about 40 minutes of it. They didn't. You know what? You looked actually in Scotland's team. It's actually some quite good individuals.
Mate, there are some fantastic footballers. You think about Robertson at left back, Tierney as well.
Yeah.
They've got quite a bit of a conundrum, aren't they? There with Robertson and Tierney. Their two best players are in the two at the same position.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would probably push Robertson forward.
Well, that's not what Scotland are doing.
They can deliver. No, but I would.
Scotland are trying.
Scotland
are trying to put them both in the back four, so they're trying to put like Tierney as the left centre back. You'd push him on, or you'd push Robertson on?
I'd push Robertson on because I think for the assist that he's getting, him and Trent seem to have that thing. I think Robertson's mentality is more to go forward.
England did that, didn't they? Do you remember when we had Bridge and Cole? We put Bridge at left wing. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Didn't work at all.
Didn't work out well.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I mean, but Wayne Bridge, we just remember him for the no handshake. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most boring lads I've ever seen on telly. But he wasn't bad. He was a solid left back. But I'd play Robertson just because he seems to get a fair few assists for Liverpool. I think he got 8 this year.
Like that,
it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot, really. But then again, he's in a a Liverpool team and not a Scotland team.
Not a
So,
Scotland team,
you
yeah.
know, but you know, John McGinn, exciting player. I'm a big fan of John McGinn.
Scott
I
McTominay
think
as
he's
well. Scott McTominay.
McTominay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you say, on paper, there's some all right players there.
The thing is with Scotland, I think Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, actually, they haven't got a lot of attacking options. You know, when it comes to that final third.
That's probably where it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when you look at teams like England and Wales, you know, like Wales is front three or front five, fantastic.
Yeah.
England's front three, front five, unreal. But you know, when you come to like Republic, Northern Ireland, luckily Northern Ireland have got an unbelievable defence and goalkeeper, so they can scrape wins 1-0, 2-0. But yeah, just going forward, Scotland, Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland haven't really got much. And haven't really had much actually for quite some time, have they?
There were a lot of on Twitter. There were a lot of, I think Ian Hart were tweeting about the Republic of Ireland. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Because they were losing right up until 94th minute, and then they managed to get the goal back. But he was saying he was slamming
their front two haven't been the same since Clinton Morrison retired.
He would say that himself as well.
He probably would say that himself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny one with Republic because again, you look throughout the year, some of their individual players, they've had some belting players,
forward players, like Quinn and Keane. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean Wales. Obviously, I watched Bale the other night. I mean, you can tell that lad has not played for a while. He
got subbed off at half time, didn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't the Gareth Bale that we all know. I mean, literally, I think the first two touches he had, he fell over the ball.
Did he?
I mean, but it's not his fault. I mean, he's not playing. He's not.
Yeah, he's not. He's not 22, 23 now. It'll take him 4 or 5 games to be absolutely up to 100%. You know, what is he, 31 now?
31.
It'll take him 5-6 games now to be right up to to full fitness.
Just touch on that there. He gave the interview to Sky Sports, and I thought it was a fantastic interview, actually. And I thought he was really open and honest. He was saying that someone had put in a bid last year, but they blocked all access to that. That wasn't happening. You know, why give a player that has done so well for you an extra, 3 or 4 years? I think he re-sign in 2016. I want to say.
I think he won his first couple.
I don't know.
He won 2 or 3 Champions Leagues, didn't he? And then he signed a big.
Yeah, they're giving that big extension, right? It's not his fault, right? So if a manager comes in and doesn't fancy you, which I still don't know really why, because my thoughts were Eden Hazard.
Because he's the same manager that he had when he won 3 Champions League.
No, and that's the point. I don't understand it. It's not like someone's come in that we've gone.
Oh, I don't fancy him.
Yeah, he scored probably one of the greatest goals ever in the Champions League final against a manager who did it in the Champions League 18 years earlier, or whatever. And yet, they've seemed to have clashed, and I can't get my head around it.
No.
Gareth Bale has gone and done his job there. Let him go.
Yeah.
Let him go. You can argue the thing with Messi, which, by the way,
of course.
Did he go? Has he gone?
Of course he did.
Of course he hasn't gone. Of course not. He was never going.
We could have told you that months ago.
We did tell you that. Yeah,
no.
And I think there's a little bit more substance to what we were talking about. I don't think this is him just pushing for a contract. I don't think it is anyway. I think it is all about the president. And I think maybe he has been close to going this time, but he was never going.
Yeah, it was never going.
It was never going.
No.
They're not going to fight for it, so we knew.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's for another. We're going to talk about
some very average results anyway for the rest of the home nations. Although not terrible results. They were about average, weren't they? Republic of Ireland got a draw. Northern Ireland got a draw. Wales are about.
I'm going to touch on a team. I'm going to touch on a team that were absolutely battered, and the team that World Cup final, Croatia. They were shocking.
Yeah.
Their goalkeeper. He's a young. I can't remember his name. He's a young keeper. He saved about 4, 5 world-class shots before the first one went in, and then he had a bit of a mare and they lost 4-1.
But they were an aging team, though, weren't they? At that time.
100%. I get that.
Modric, Rakitic,
Perisic, all them Rakitic.
Mandzukic,
they're all 30 plus.
Mandzukic, and a couple of defenders as well were in the 30s. So that was the end of their era, wasn't it? And they're in a bit of a transitional perier at the minute. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
You could tell.
And they've done that a couple of times. You look back at the Croatia back in the day when they had like Davor Suker and such like.
Oh, they produce good players. There's no danger about that. But they looked awful.
They're just at the end of their cycle, aren't they? So they'll start again, and they'll. Well, Leeds are after one of their centre backs, an 18-year-old. So we'll see how that goes. I just wanted to touch upon, mate. I'm asking you the question.
Go on.
You're a Leeds fan, you're an England fan.
Yeah.
Same as one international. Would you rather? I offer you this now. At the end of this season, Leeds Premier League champions or England win the Euros?
Oh, well, it's hard. Well, it's not hard. I mean, I'd obviously want Leeds to be champions because it means more as a
would
club.
Would you want it more than England to be Euro champions? Because think of the buzz around the country, not just in Leeds. Think about how many times have we been to places where England we've been.
That's a really hard. That's a hard question. That's like.
Think about it, man.
I suppose if you put. Do Leeds still stay in the Premier League though?
What, the season after?
No, so like, is it just Leeds are champions or we get relegated?
No, Leeds this season, either Leeds be Premier League champions, so we win the Premier League, Leeds win the Premier League this season, or England win the Euros.
Well, I would probably say England win the Euros for the simple fact that there's more chance to go at the league. If I'm talking about it logically, but in my head, I know Leeds are not going to win the league. If you'd have said to us, Leeds stay up and stay up by an arse cheek and England losing the final, I'd pick Leeds all day long. But Leeds to be champions, it's never going to happen. I don't know. You know what I mean? Not yet, anyway. What about you?
England for me again, mate.
Would you?
A couple of reasons, really. I think England have never won anything in my lifetime. Or the tournament before France '98, that great tournament that nobody remembers. Leeds have won things in my lifetime. We won the not in times when I remember that, like the 91-92 and the 90-91. We won the second division. We won the first division.
Yeah.
We got promoted in League One. When we finished second, and we won the championship last year. So I've seen Leeds win things. Although I've never seen them win the Premier League. But I've seen Leeds win things. Now, it's an unbelievable buzz in the city when Leeds win things. It was unbelievable in Leeds in general when we got promoted last year. It would have been even better if it weren't for COVID. But if England won a major championship, this whole country would be dead for a week. It would just be absolutely manic.
I agree. And I do agree. I think it was just the fact that he said Leeds winning the league. I'm a bit like, well, for me, it would be a no-brainer for me. I would say I'd like to see Leeds stay in the Premier League, or if England to win the Euro. But I'm with you. We've never seen England win. I mean, my first tournament I threw my heart and soul into was Euro '96, and we obviously became so close, and that always lives with me. Every time I see England in a tournament, I always go back to being that 8-year-old lad in 1996, sat in my living room and watch. The first international really that I was so engulfed by was when we beat Holland 4-1. And and my love for England is strong. I get the fact that international can be a bit, and we all miss it when it comes around in September and end of October or whenever it is. But I'm with you. I would like to see England win something. It would be a dream.
The thing is, all we've ever felt with England is heartache. We've never felt joy. The last joy we had was reaching a semi-final, which was amazing. But
it was amazing.
Is that really joy?
It's not. But we were so close. But that's what I'm saying. When you look at that bloody Croatia team last night,
and as well, next year the Euros, the final is in England.
Yeah,
the final is at Wembley, a home nation.
I mean, if you talk about that, then I mean, I would love to see England lift it in Wembley.
Yeah,
with a crowd.
Absolutely. With the
full
crowd.
I'm not having this tournament behind closed doors. I'm not having this.
How are you finding
that's the case, just cancel the.
Just cancel Euros. Yeah, if it's not 100% capacity.
Just cancel it.
How are you finding the no crowd at the minute?
It's going to be very strange. I mean, if like I said, if you'd have said that Leeds United were going to step out against Liverpool with no crowd there, first time in Premier League.
I know. I was really pinning my hopes on at least there being some sort of crowd there.
5,000 even.
Yeah, just anything. Space them out. It's totally manageable to do it.
If they get 2,500, we get 2,000. You know what I mean? Anything just to do it. But, I mean. Look, it's not just us. Listen, it might be a bonus for us. We don't have an Anfield crowd, or teams
no pressure.
don't have teams maybe teams. Well, we've seen it throughout the years when League One and Championship lower teams will come to Ellen Road and they thrive off the crowd. So I don't know. It's such a win-win, lose-lose sometimes. But I mean, I have missed or you have seen the fact that how important crowds are. But it's going to be very, very different. Not liking it. I want crowds back as soon as possible. Literally as soon as possible.
I'm done with this
and
crowd
get it
noise,
up there
mate.
quick.
I'm done with this crowd
Oh,
noise
it's
now.
awful. Yeah, I watched watching darts last night. They've even got it on there.
Yeah,
and it's like,
it's
oh,
horrendous.
God.
It's even worse. The cricket as well. Like, there's
Yeah.
never really any noise. It's just like a mumble of just
Yeah.
noise, and it's just like, it's horrendous. It's really, really bad. But yeah, mate, rugby yesterday, Harlequins had 3,500 fans. Did you see that, by the way?
Yeah, it's slowly coming back.
They had fans in the stadium, and they all had QR codes on the back of each seat. So
Right.
you couldn't go to the bar. So you had to scan the QR code on the back of the seat, and they brought the drinks out to you. Unbelievable. First world problems there.
The future. I know. It's unbelievable. But listen, England go again Tuesday. We will be doing a preview show ready for Leeds' return next week in the Premier League. That feels good.
It does feel
That
good.
feels nice. That
Yeah.
feels nice saying
Yeah.
it. Hopefully, when we do a podcast next Sunday, we'll be reflecting a draw or a win. If we lose, we lose. It won't be the end of the world. But I think for Leeds, it would. If we did lose it, I want to lose it positively, and I want to take something out of it. But you know what? It's a fresh start. We're all on 0 points. There's no reason that Leeds can't beat Liverpool.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
And on that note, I'm just going to leave it there. Follow us on social media, and for until next time, we are out.
See you later.